Let's start with some relaxation though. I need some relaxation today. It's Monday. It's Monday morning and I already need it.
Okay.
Anybody want to lead us in a relaxation response? Ernest?
How about we do the box breathing method?
How's it go?
Box breathing method is a method of breathing where you inhale for 4 seconds, you hold it for 4 seconds, you exhale for 4 seconds, and then you hold that for 4 seconds. So, let's try it. Everybody ready? Okay. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. One more time. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Everybody breathe. All right. Everybody feel relaxed? Isn't that relaxing?
Yeah.
That's the box breathing method. Anytime you suffer from anxiety, depression, or any other mental illness, you can use this method to kind of slow you down and get you focused again. That is a meditation exercise where it helps you focus. So anytime you find yourself stressed or anxious or anything, use the box breathing method. It'll bring you back to your focus again. Okay?
How long do you do the breathing for?
I'll do it for maybe about 5 to 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, I feel dizzy and I'm about to pass out. But a good 5 to 10 minutes will help you focus back to where you were before your anxiety or your stress kicked in. So I'll do it for maybe about 10 minutes. No more than 10 minutes. Because you can hurt yourself if you're not breathing correctly. But again, this breathing exercise helps you focus.
Thank you.
Okay? All right.
Very cool. Thank you. We're going to start on page 36 today. We're talking about the physical part of being healthy. Chris, do you have a book? Right over there. I thought I saw you earlier. Perhaps I did not. Want to borrow one?
Let me borrow one.
You want to share with me?
Yeah, I will.
No, you want to borrow one? Here you go.
Okay.
I was not going to be here today.
All right. 30.
36. Somebody want to read page 36, the top part there for us?
I can do that.
Thank you, Larry.
Health risk screening and shared decision making. For better whole health self-management. This session focuses on health risk screening and shared decision making. People living with mental illnesses and addictions are at greater risk than the general population for dying early or experiencing life-altering conditions such as cardiovascular disease, diabetes, hepatitis, or acquired immune deficiency syndrome, which is AIDS. The Medical Directors Council of the National Association of State Mental Health Program Directors released a report on October 2006 that states people with serious mental illness served by the public mental health system die on average 25 years earlier than the general population. The report morbidity and mortality in people with serious mental illness says that increased morbidity, illness, and mortality means death are largely due to preventable conditions such as metabolic disorders, cardiovascular disease, and diabetes. Preventable health risk factors include obesity, smoking, substance abuse, and inadequate access to medical care. The report also states that some psychiatric medications can reduce the risk.
Thank you, Larry. Okay, so the takeaway for me from that paragraph is I'm living on borrowed time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 52 years old, so my life expectancy minus the 25 years is pretty much up. But I don't plan to die anytime soon because I'm trying to take care of some of these things that are physical that we're going to talk about today. Just because you have a severe and persistent mental illness does not mean that you're going to die 25 years younger than the rest of the population. It just means that we have to be a little more on duty with ourselves, do some self-care, be aware of what's going on with us, and reach out for the help that we need when we need it. Let's go ahead and do the questions at the bottom of page 36. Why is it important to self-check or seek health screenings to monitor health risk factors? Anybody?
Because that way you find out if something like a knot or a sore or something on you, and you ain't see it once before, then you look and you see it now, you need to have it checked out because it could be cancer, it could be anything.
That's a great example. Thank you. Thank you very much. Who else? Yes, Susie.
It's a cheap way of getting good health care.
How's that?
Well, when they have the health fairs or different screenings going on, they're usually free.
Yep.
The people that work those fairs are very educated, of course, and they also are very personable. And they can pick up on things that you can follow up. And usually, if you do need a follow-up, you get them either at a reduced rate or get them free.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cancer runs in my family.
Okay, Bev. So why is it important for you to get screened?
Isn't cancer sometimes hereditary?
I think you're right. I think you're right. I'm overweight, so I have trouble with my cholesterol. So I have to go to the doctor and have my blood done so they know where my cholesterol is. I got some high blood pressure that I deal with. Those are not a result of my mental illness, those are a result of my eating too much and not exercising.
But
Go ahead.
your physical health can mess with your mental health.
Very much so. That's a great statement. I'm gonna say that again. Your physical health can mess with your mental health. How many of you have experienced that? I have.
I have.
When I'm not feeling good physically, it totally messes with my mental health.
Yeah, because when I do the same thing, I get grouchy.
Mm-hmm.
I snap.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want nobody touching me. I don't want to be around nobody. I want to hide myself.
Yep.
Isolate.
Isolation, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you. I'm a big isolator. I isolated for almost 10 years. Yes, Larry.
Yeah, last week I had to go to the hospital because of having trouble breathing and everything. I was diagnosed with a viral upper respiratory infection, and when I was checking for a follow-up at the doctor, he found swollen lymph nodes in my throat, my neck and everything. He gave me some medicine for like 3 days and everything, and I don't seem to have much problems and everything.
Well, you look good, you sound good, and that's a good example of doing the right thing. That's being self-aware.
I also went to the hospital. I had an EKG done, and one of those times, like the second time I had it, I started having a arrhythmia.
Okay.
Started to have a little bit of a arrhythmia there.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I had to take it easy and everything. On one of the blood tests, and the other doctors were one with us the week before, I've been diagnosed with pre-diabetes.
Okay.
And I know you're working really hard on your weight, which is great. That's gonna help a lot with the pre-diabetes.
Yeah,
because,
but I've been diagnosed with pre-diabetes anyway.
I got diabetes. I got very bad diabetes. I take 4 shots a day.
Wow.
Mm.
I don't have no toes because of diabetes. And right now, my diabetes has literally almost wrecked my body. I have nerve damage from diabetes. I have stomach problems from diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
I have bleeding retinas from diabetes. My hands are, because of diabetes, the way they are. And this weekend, I hurt so bad, I literally almost was crying. And it hadn't been for her helping me to get through the pain, I don't know what I would have done.
I heard a lot of things there. Thank you. What I heard that I loved was peer support. That's very cool to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They live in the same building, he's in my old apartment.
Okay.
That's very
And
nice.
she knows when I get to her, I'll go in isolation in a minute.
And then I kidnap her dog.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
she
right.
takes care of him when I can't. She walks him and everything and,
We walk in.
yeah, they walk him. But, and he helps me a lot too.
Right, yeah.
He, you know, 'cause he knows when I'm sick, 'cause he'll get right up on, stay up under me and come to me and look up like, okay, I know something. And I'll pet him and things and let him know I'm okay and he'll go lay down, but he ain't that far from me, you know.
That's wonderful to have. That's very nice. Thank you, guys.
He also plays with my cats.
Yeah,
Really?
mm-hmm,
Dogs and cats playing together.
Oh,
Times.
what a wonderful
just
world.
one of them.
One of them.
Yes, Larry.
That's like one more thing I had in the past and everything. Has anybody heard of obstructive sleep apnea?
Yes, I have it.
Yes.
Yes, that's what I have.
Okay.
So it sounds like a lot of you are aware of what's going on, which is really wonderful, because you can't do anything about it if you're not aware of it. Second question. What self-management strategies or health risk screenings are important to prevent untimely death?
Mammograms.
What was that again?
Mammograms.
Mammograms, critically important. Yes, that's a great answer, thank you. And CC?
Colonoscopy.
Oh,
That was-
Bev, that's a great one too.
That's what I was gonna say, Bev.
Oh, it's good.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
very good. And
But
CC
it
talked
has,
about
but it
screenings.
has to be about the age that you can get those things.
Right, right.
Body scan,
Body scan's a good thing to have,
Dexterity scans, bone density.
right?
What was
DEXA
that?
Bone
dex-
density scan? And
Okay.
CC, what were you saying?
Yeah.
I was just saying DEXA scan, what she was talking
Okay.
about.
Okay.
But
And-
you're screening for just about everything. Your EKG for your heart, the silent killer, your blood pressure is very important because most people don't know they have high blood pressure
Blood
in the
sugar.
beginning.
Blood sugar.
Blood
blood
sugar.
test.
You know, there is a doctor now in GCB's office. It's called Health Connections.
Mhm.
Dr. Luke, there's two doctors. The females prefer Dr. Lucas.
Melissa Lucas?
Yeah. And they also will run tests for you if you have them. If you don't have a regular doctor, they'll see you until they can find you a regular doctor.
Okay.
So I've had blood work done at GCB. Oh, CC, you mentioned blood screenings earlier, and then you filled in the gap there, you're right. Your A1C, where's your blood sugar? It's critically important. The easy stuff, blood pressure and cholesterol. Those are easy to take care of once we know about them. Colonoscopy, great one. Mammogram,
Liver
couldn't be
tests.
more important.
Most psych meds will eat your liver.
I've heard that, and there are some bad things that do happen sometimes with psychiatric meds. I have had my blood done at GCB, you're right about that. If you haven't had a blood test and you have a doctor, I just ask them to do routine blood work on you.
If anybody is on Clozaril, you need your white blood cell count checked for agranulocytosis. You need monthly blood tests.
Okay.
And a lot of people think that you get diabetes from sugar. You do not. The way you get diabetes is from your family, or you get it from starch.
You can
That's
get
the
it,
two.
you can get diabetes from your meds too.
No,
Yes,
you can't.
Oh, no.
You can.
Well,
There are some meds
That will
that
bring
will
it
put you into a diabetic state
Yes.
that you
Okay.
can't be reversed.
But the two main
Yeah.
is your family
hereditary.
Right.
and starch.
Okay.
That's the two main things, so bring it on.
Okay.
And if anybody takes lithium, I take lithium.
Yes.
Gotta
I'm
have-
taking it.
Gotta have a blood test done.
A serene lithium level test.
Yep.
I took lithium for maybe about 4 years, and I used to have the test, blood work done pretty much every couple months
Yep.
to
It did
monitor
every 2
and
weeks.
monitor my. You did it every 2 weeks. I think I did it maybe every 2 months.
That's when
So-
they found out it was affecting my liver.
Right, and that was one of the. It was affecting my kidneys. So a lot of the medications, I had to have kidney exams, only because I was in stage 2 kidney failure. But since I've lost the weight, I'm now at a normal kidney function. So
That's good.
the way you put in exercise. One of the dimensions that I teach in my class is recreation and leisure, the meditation, the exercising. These are parts of your life, if you don't satisfy, will come back to bite you. You have to have a certain amount of exercises. You have to have that blood circulating through your body. Routine exams will help you find areas that that's not right. Your A1C, whether it's high, your diabetes, whether it's affecting you. We challenge you to find out when you know something is wrong with you, to go to the doctor and try to find a solution for it. HIV is another thing you should be tested for routinely. Tuberculosis, every time I have a TB test, I test positive for tuberculosis, exposure-wise, but as soon as I have the x-ray, it shows that I don't have tuberculosis.
Yeah, it's
So-
what you call a carrier.
I'm a carrier, absolutely. So, things that we're carriers of, diabetes runs in the family, in my family. So, I made it a point to make sure I eat healthy and check my A1C regularly so I'm not exposed to that. So, that's a hereditary thing in my family. So, that's something that I have to monitor on a, say, monthly basis. But I do have to make sure that I'm in good standing as far as diabetes is
Yeah,
concerned.
because I got cancer, diabetes,
Mhm.
high blood pressure in my family.
Wow.
Did
a lot to
you,
deal with.
does everybody know that when you're checked for cancer,
Mhm.
Excuse me.
everybody has a small cancer count in their
Mhm.
body? In most people, it's minimal.
Sorry.
But
Sorry
about
everybody has a small cancer count in their body. Like,
Mhm.
it has to be a certain level before you're considered to have, actually having cancer. But everybody has a small cancer count in their body.
Yeah,
no matter how healthy
that's
they
called
are.
your PSA. As a matter of fact, I had a PSA done about 6 months ago. Your average range is between 0 and a 4. Mine was a 4.6. So I had to go in for biopsy, a prostate biopsy. I was tested again 2 weeks ago and it came down to 3.4. So that's something that has to be monitored as well. That's a very good point. Very good point.
I heard differently. I heard normal was like 5 or 6.
Okay. It could be. I wouldn't say you're wrong. But the range that I was given was up to 4.40.
I heard 5 or 6.
Okay. We'll check that out. How about we check that out and the winner buys the other one a coffee.
Okay.
All right? All
I
right.
had coffee.
That's
Free
why
coffee. I love it.
that's why I'll buy you coffee if I lose.
Okay.
What age are men subjected to that painful? Because I've had it done too.
Oh,
Is it
well,
50?
I think it was 50.
I think
I think
I'm
it's
going
around
50.
50.
If you're a
Yeah.
guy over 50, have your prostate checked.
absolutely.
It just takes a second.
Oh, it's so degrading.
Yeah, but it just takes
But
a
it's
second.
very, very necessary. Sometimes we have to go out of our comfort zone in order for us to find out what's going on.
Well, don't knock it, Bill. Women have to get mammograms.
Oh, yeah.
They're no fun either.
They're no
They
fun.
sure ain't.
They show it.
Well, if a
Okay.
man shows up with, because they can get breast cancer too,
That's right.
Yeah.
they will have to do that too.
Yeah.
It's a lot more painful on men because they don't have as much cartilage.
Oh, yeah. Is that what they're called? Okay. All right.
I was gonna say, we're talking about a reaction to meds. The very thing that's helping me for my intellectual disability, that's the thing that we like using now, compromises my cardiac status.
Yep.
So we have to monitor how the medicines, well, we know it's helping me, but we have to monitor my heart to make sure things are going well. I have a pacemaker,
Okay.
and I do my readings from home.
Mhm.
And at any time, if anything does go wrong, they know where I am.
Right.
You know, through the satellite type of thing. So that's one of the compromises that we had to go with in order for me to be healthy.
Cece, what's the term you use, intellectual?
Well, intellectual disability, that's the term that they're using, East Coast, West Coast, and they're trying to get it to come to Central America and use it instead of saying mental health.
Okay.
They use that mostly for learning disabilities as well.
Well, yeah, but it's still an issue that has to do with the cognitive process.
Okay.
Okay, I'll put it to you that way.
Okay.
I've not heard that, thank you.
I've never heard that either.
I've heard
Thank
that
you for sharing
knowledge,
that.
but they always said it was for those with learning difficulties and mildly retarded.
Okay.
Let's go on to page 37. Who wants to read about health risk screenings? Thank you.
To better understand, excuse me. To better understand health risk screening, let's first define a medical term known as metabolic.
Metabolic
Oh, metabolic syndrome.
syndrome.
The National Cholesterol Education Program Adult Treatment Panel defines metabolic syndrome.
Metabolic.
Huh?
Metabolic.
Oh, metabolic syndrome as the pressure of 3 or more of the following health risks indicated: high blood pressure, abnormal low good cholesterol, elevated
Emily.
Elevated.
triglyceride, fatty acids, high blood sugar, abnormal vascular fat. Each of the indications above adds some risk of disease. For the most, the indication experienced by an individual, the higher the risk for developing type 2 diabetes and heart disease. The following are the screenings for the risks indicated above. High blood pressure is the measurement of the increased blood pressure against the walls of the blood vessels and the blood flow through the body. Restrictions to the blood
Resistance.
flow that increase blood pressure could result from the ridge vessel, narrow vessel block with fatty plaque, cholesterol, or other serious heart problems. If blood pressure remains high, it can lead to heart attack, stroke, brain attack, kidney failure, heart failure, or blindness. You can have high blood pressure and not know it, which is why it is important to track your blood pressure. A simple blood pressure measure device is a cuff that inflates with a pressure gauge. The blood pressure is given in two numbers. The top number is your systolic pressure, which is the force of blood in your blood vessels when your heart beats. And the bottom number is your,
Diastolic.
say that again?
Diastolic.
Diastolic
Yep.
pressure, which is the force of blood as your heart relaxes between beats.
Let's stop here for a minute. So Larry came in the other day and had his blood pressure checked in my office because I have a blood pressure cuff. If you don't know what your blood pressure is or what your range is, you're welcome to come in anytime and check it. It takes about 3 minutes. And we can do that anytime you like to.
Mine's usually really, really low.
My dad had really low blood pressure. I don't know where I got my high blood pressure.
Is
But
it on-
Mom,
Is it automatic one?
Or somebody.
what do you mean, Chris?
It pumps it up and does the numbers and all that.
Yeah,
So
it's
you wanna
electronic.
do it yourself.
So that top paragraph, the health risk screening, it says 3 or more of these, right? Where am I? I'm missing that somewhere.
Yes,
I've got high blood pressure, elevated triglycerides, and abdominal visceral fat, waist circumference. I carry all my fat pretty much on around my waist. So I am at risk. I need to be paying attention and doing my health screenings, which I do. And I'm trying to treat my high blood pressure. A little bit of work on my fat stomach.
Well, they got,
Treat my,
I'm on 2 blood pressures and water.
wow.
Wow.
Page 38. Somebody want to read, start on page 38?
Sure. Okay, my blood pressure is diastolic and diastolic. If your blood pressure is high, it is a good idea to talk to your doctor. High blood pressure can often be self-managed with healthy eating, physical activity, weight loss, reducing salt, and taking medication. Cholesterol are the fatty chemicals that help with the cellular hormone and body processes. When cholesterols are increased beyond normal ranges, they initiate a support disease such as heart disease, diabetes, and stroke. High-density lipoproteins, also known as HDL, or good cholesterol, removes excessive low-density lipoproteins,
Yeah.
LDL, or bad cholesterol from the bloodstream. If HDL is low, then there is not enough to carry away excess fat deposits in the blood vessels. This can restrict blood flow. Screening for entire cholesterol profile can be done in your doctor's office, clinic, lab. A blood drop can be examined quickly by a medical professional on a machine that with results available in 5 minutes. One advantage of this sort of screening is the results are available immediately. A usual procedure is to take blood samples from your arms, usually after fasting overnight, which is the sample sent to the lab for analysis. A follow-up appointment with the medical profession is usually made for interpretation of lab analysis, or the results may be provided by phone or mail. Screening for cholesterol is done as a lipid fat profile, which checks total cholesterol, high and low cholesterol, triglycerides, and HDL risk factors, desirable ranges, total diagnostic below 200 milligrams LD or DL3, triglycerides below 150 milligrams LDL, HDL good above 60 milligrams, LDL bad 100 milligrams LD or below. HDL risk factors, average risk factor is 3.4.
Thank you, Dee Dee. Has everybody had their cholesterol done?
Yes,
I imagine most of us have.
yes.
It's been a while.
It's been a while for me too. I need to do it again. I'm still taking meds, but it's important. I've got to follow up with it to see how you're doing. We don't know unless we have it checked. You might want to read about high blood pressure.
I will.
Ernest.
Woohoo! All right. High blood pressure, glucose, is also another important risk factor. People can self-monitor to prevent or manage diabetes. Blood glucose is the amount of sugar in the blood at the time of testing. Normal range is 80 to 100 milligrams. Screenings can be done by finger stick blood drop measure by a glucometer. The diagnose or manage diabetes, a medical profession orders a lab test called glucose tolerance test, which is usually administered in a doctor's office, clinic, or hospital after 8 hours of fasting. Another blood test used to manage diabetes is called hemoglobin A1C test, which determines how well diabetes is being managed over a 3-month period. This test can also be done at a doctor's office or a clinic with a blood stick drop, which can analyze in 5 minutes by a machine, or having blood drawn from your arm and then sent to a lab for analysis. See the A1C test standard provided in the shaded box on the previous page.
If you haven't done an A1C or a blood test for your blood sugar, I encourage you to do one, because Ernest is a great example. There are so many things that your body can turn the clock back on if you start taking care of yourself. Eating right, exercising, getting enough sleep,
I
those
finally
kind of
got
things.
mine down to 7.7.
Okay.
So, and they want you to be under 7, right? You're very close. That's very good.
But mine used to be 13 and
Wow,
Wow.
that's a lot of progress. Congratulations.
I'm
Mine
trying.
are usually below 6.
Very good.
Okay.
Mine's below 6, but I also have A1C that can be done at home, just
Okay.
like the glucometer.
Very nice.
Okay.
And I do that about once a month, just to see where I'm standing.
Okay. Ernest, you want to finish reading that
I
page?
do. Other health risk screening, and I mentioned this a little earlier, HIV. HIV test for human immune deficiency virus is a blood screening for the precursor of AIDS. Excuse me, I can't see. HIV weakens the body's natural defense system against illness. AIDS is the largest stage of HIV infection. Blood can be drawn at the doctor's office or clinic or at the public health department. The blood is then sent to a lab for analysis, after which a medical professional will discuss with an individual the results and any necessary follow-ups. The blood test will either be positive or negative. An HIV positive condition can be treated and managed successfully without ever manifesting to AIDS. This virus can be given to other individuals through blood contamination, from unprotected sex, sharing needles, and other contact with blood. Hepatitis C test is a blood screening for a disease of the liver. The blood is usually drawn from the arm at a doctor's office or clinic or the public health department. The blood is sent to a lab for analysis, after which a medical professional will discuss the results of any necessary follow-up. The blood test will either be positive or negative. Hepatitis can be treated and managed successfully.
Thank you. So, go ahead. Who was that? Anybody?
No, I'm just saying, yes, it can.
So, is hepatitis C, can we cure that now?
Yes, it can be cured.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I thought.
But you,
I
after
know
it's
somebody
cured,
personally.
Okay.
after it's cured, but you still got the virus in your system.
Right. I mean, that's the same as HIV as well. HIV treated correctly will give you a reading that says undetectable positive, which means that the amount of HIV in your system won't register on a HIV test. That's not saying that you're not still, you still have the deficiency virus in your system, but it's not going to register on the test. Okay, so that's when you become undetectable, HIV undetectable positive. So,
Curiosity, if you're undetectable, can you still pass the virus along?
it's still possible. It's not impossible, but there's a very, very low chance, if you are undetectable, of passing the virus on to somebody else through sex.
Okay.
I learned about this during my manic stage, where at that point I was doing things that I shouldn't have been doing. I was in a high-risk group at that point, so I had to be tested every couple of months because I was in that high-risk group. Thank God I've always tested negative, but it's still something that I always will be tested on, that I would like to be tested on, just to make sure that I stay at a negative account that I stay negative.
There's like the hepatitis C.
Yes.
You can get cured for it. You have to take medicines. You got to take all these shots, but then you can get the test like Ernest was saying, that you can still have the disease in your system, but it just won't show up
Okay.
after you've been treated. But it can still come back on you
Mm-hmm.
later on in life.
Yes.
So, especially if you got liver damage
Right.
from, you can get two types of, there's non-fatty liver disease, what they call NASH, and then you got the alcohol liver.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be very careful if you do have it, and take the shots, because you can pass that on to somebody through sex too.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, thank you, thank you. So we just read about cholesterol, high blood pressure, HIV, and hepatitis C, and all of those sections said the same thing. They said, go to your doctor's office and have your blood drawn. They'll send it out to a lab and test it for you. Does everybody have a place they can go to get blood drawn if they have to? Everybody here have a doctor?
Yes.
The VA, yes.
You have the VA?
I have VA.
Wow.
Wow.
How is that?
VA takes care of all my medical needs. I'm very thankful that I served, and now I have the VA behind me. Because if I hadn't, who knows where I'd be right now.
Yeah.
You guys going around here?
Right around the corner.
Okay, great.
Yeah, all right.
So a little segue, then we'll come back. Thank you, Ernest.
Mm-hmm.
November 11th, we've got Ernest, we've got Deborah, we've got David,
Mm-hmm.
all on staff, all vets. Who am I missing, Ernest?
I think that's about it on staff.
But thank you very much for what you do.
All right.
Let's go to page 40. What challenges do you think people may face when screening themselves for health issues? I know mine, my big one was I just didn't want to do anything. I don't want to have to go to my appointments.
There's a lot of, especially the men,
Yep, I think that's true.
Yeah.
We're a little more stubborn.
Maybe the beer, they can find something?
Beer's been a big one for me too, Bev. Thanks for mentioning that one. Yeah, I go back and forth between do I want to know
Do I want to
or
know?
do I not want to know? I'm okay not knowing, but I worry about it all the time.
and then, to me, it seems like when the men do find out more than the women, they like, we're just gonna push it over here in the corner and leave it go for a while.
I think that's probably true too. Were you saying something, Dee?
The cost, not everybody.
Cost is a big one. Yeah, it's very true. Cost is a very big one. Anybody else have anything that would stop you from getting a screening?
One point in time after I lost my job, I didn't have insurance, and I was not informed that the VA would take care of my needs. So I went a couple years, maybe about 2 or 3 years, without being on medication for my mental illness. That's what pushed me into a manic state, and that's when I became high risk in a lot of areas. So I went without medical coverage for a period of time. That stopped me. It wasn't until I found out about the VA, which someone gave me the information, that I was able to take advantage of what the VA offered. So some people don't have medical insurance. That could be a big blow to your health, your screening and finding out different things that's going on with your body.
And that could, couldn't that too, do with your mental health, and I mean, cause you can't get your medicines?
Right. I didn't have medicine. I wasn't on medication. So I went in a depression for almost 3 years. I can go in a depression and stay in that depression for years at a time if I'm not on a medication, if I'm not getting the therapy. So that's why it's critical that I stay on top of my depression, because I can lose years. I can lose years at a time. I can look up and be 60 years old in a depression and have absolutely no direction. So that's why I fight as hard as I do for my recovery, only because of the result of my mental illness. Where would it take me? How long would I be in this depression? What will be the result of my depression? Do I go back to a high-risk group of suicide, of HIV, of other diseases or whatever? That's questions we have to answer. And I challenge you, everybody, to know exactly what your triggers are, what your diagnosis is, what's the effect, how does it affect you health-wise, what does it do to your health, what risk groups do it put you in. There's a lot of questions that we have to ask ourselves when we sit down and we read a book like this, WHAM. Know exactly what's going on with your body. If there is something that you don't understand, ask questions. I challenge you to ask your doctor every question that you can possibly think of, because I do. Even the dumb questions, ask them. Not knowing is probably the worst thing you could ever go through, is not knowing. Knowing is half the battle. Then we can make a plan on how we approach what's going on with us.
My sister's husband, he just was going on through his normal life, and he got real sick, and they didn't know what was wrong with him. And they took him to be tested, and they found that his blood sugar was 300 and something. And they had no idea that he was diabetic. So they just discovered his blood sugar was 350 something.
Okay. Yeah.
And he had been living with diabetes and didn't even know it.
Some of us are living with illnesses that we may not know. That's why it's so important for you to go to your checkups. Go get screened. Don't be afraid. It's easier to fight something than to just let it fester, not think about it.
He could have been watching his eating habits and taking medicine.
Absolutely.
all the
Absolutely.
while.
We-
And then too, you know, some, like if you go for one test, sometimes they end up finding
Something else wrong.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What were you going to say? You were going to ask the question.
No, I was gonna say how sad it was with you even being a veteran,
Right?
and you came out and you still didn't know none of, you know.
At that point, I had no idea what was available
And
to
they
me.
should let you know.
They should have let me know.
Sad.
It should have been my responsibility to find out as
Yeah.
well.
Right.
But I could have been given information. That's one of the reasons why I appreciate the classes that we give.
Right.
It's about us giving you information,
Yep.
great information for you to use. You always hear me talking about fighting for recovery, not just on the days you're here at the Recovery Center. This is a lifelong fight. This fight requires you to manage at all times, not just on the days we're at the Recovery Center. This is a daily, hourly, minute, second fight that we have to fight. I challenge you to give it all you can. And we can't cure you here, but we give you tools in order for you to manage and maintain. That's what we do here, is to give you this information. It's up to you to determine how to use this information.
Let me paraphrase something you said earlier, Ernest, when you were talking about being aware of yourself. It sounds like, and I know it's critical for me, is self-awareness, to know what your body's doing all the time, to know what your brain is doing, to know where you are. Mental illness for me is kind of cyclical, so I want to know where I am in that cycle so that I can do the things I need to do to push me in the right direction. So being self-aware is critically important. One doctor that we didn't talk about at all today is a dentist, and I hate going to the dentist.
Oh.
I mean, I hate going to the dentist.
I do too.
But it's critically important, and I like what you said, Ernest. You know, I've spent more time in my mind after reading the internet and diagnosing myself, and then worrying for months or years before I go have something checked out to find that it's nothing. And I would rather stay out of my head. I had a friend tell me, never go into your own head without a friend or a flashlight. And I like that. I like
Another
that
doctor
advice.
that's important is the
Very
eye
good.
doctor.
Which one?
Eye doctor.
Eye doctor.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
And podiatrist, don't forget those
Appetizers, yeah.
guys.
I have to get my toenails cut pretty regularly and check the circulation on your feet. That's as important.
Did you not know the VA existed?
I did know they existed. I didn't know what the requirements or the eligibility for the VA was at that time. Again, it wasn't until I lost my job that I even had to consider it, because the job that I had excellent medical benefits. So it's never a concern to me. I was never concerned to the fact that I was going to lose my job and not have medical benefits. So once I did learn, since then I've taken full advantage of what the VA offers. Okay?
And I don't know if we're not aware of it, but all the major hospitals since the law was passed have clinics. And if you're an individual that is having trouble with your bills and things, they should say, do you have a doctor? Would you like to come to our clinic? And they also have doctors that work at a zero, reduced rates, or nothing. And that's the law. The other thing is, when you get a bill, and I find that people don't tell people this, that being a resident of the state of Ohio, you're automatically entitled to help on bills. And if you turn over the bill on the back, then they don't tell people this, there's a scale and who to contact in order to get help.
Right.
So don't let the bills worry you to death,
Right.
to put another element of stress on you.
Yeah.
No amount of money is more important than your health.
Yep.
We'll find a way to help you pay for it if we can, but find out what's going on with you. Get the test done,
And it used to be, and I hate to say this, people got turned away if they didn't have money to pay for stuff.
Absolutely.
And that can't be done now either.
All right.
Hey, thank you guys very much. Do this week. Practice some self-awareness. Feel your mind, feel your physical, see where you are. See if there's anything you need to take care of. And if you haven't done a screening in a while, schedule one. Well, you can be accountable to us.
For a long time, I didn't have my colonoscopy done either. And simply because I wanted a woman doctor.
Right.
So until I found one, I did know that it's very important to have it done. I had it done.
Okay.
You don't have to have your colonoscopy, they have another test that you can take and just ship it off. And they'll tell you whether you get a candidate for cancer.
Right.
And the
Absolutely.
results from it.
That's right.
So don't be
Another-
afraid, just like you say,
Yeah.
do something.
And another test is good sometimes is having these scopes go down into your throat,
Oh.
your stomach,
Endoscopies.
Yes. Yes.
and your lungs.
Yes.
Because I've had that and they found out I had like a little dozen ulcers.
Oh, okay.
Did we take attendance today?
Yes.
We did.
Okay,
Yep,
thank you.
gotcha. Thank you, guys.
Thank
All
you.
right.
It was a good
And with that,
session.
we're out.